Hey guys, welcome back to Burning Rome Rants. It's gonna be a great old time, I see. So, I think it's time we finally let the full cat out of the bag, and that is social justice warriors. However, instead of just discussing the basics, you know what I mean? Of like an argument against them, I'm gonna try to go from a historical context to try to give you guys some backing here so that you might understand exactly what people mean when they call them cultural Marxist or Puritans, or they're very puritanical. And essentially I'm going to talk about, first, let's talk about the Marxist side of them. Obviously they're very Marxist, considering people that, instead of economic classes, the bourgeoisie, the proletariat, etc., and so on, they often are mentioning things such as race and gender are the new social classes. This is a way to kind of switch up Marxism in a way that benefits them as people, because most of them do come from privileged families, and that's something that they can't help and they can't really change about themselves. It backfire. It's a way to. It'll backfire if they started talking about bourgeois hatred, because they are the bourgeoisie. They don't. That's why economic people and real big business don't take them seriously, is because they're not talking about economic classes. They're talking about shit no one gives a damn about. But as Mao said during the revolution in China, for Marxism to work, there has to be a constant revolution. You constantly have to go after somebody. You constantly have to fight them. So that's what they're doing. And that's why, if you've noticed, in some ways, the subjects have changed. They will often change to certain groups once that group they believe has rights, such as gay men right now are kind of being gone after now that they have equal rights in most of the Western world, because their focus is not these blind Middle Eastern countries or places in Africa that really are sexist and racist and etc. They're really institutionalized in that way. They are these Western countries that are extremely modern and extremely secular and safe for pretty much everyone involved here. So that's inherently how they're Marxist in a very bare bones material. Economically, they're not really. They love their little iPhones and shit. They'll bitch about it, and as She One Head had that picture of her, it says "smash capitalism with the iPhone." They do that, but they're less concerned about any sort of capitalist or economic reform as much as they are caring about identity politics, who you are by default, and how that affects your life, which comes from sociology, which is a whole nother video I could get into. Trust me when I say this. Another thing that's often referred to them as Puritans. Now this is going to be a bit more complex and a bit longer, because I'm going to go a bit deeper here. With Puritans, as we all know, we have the Puritan disdain for sexuality, as we see with the Dead or Alive issue that is currently going on right now, and as we see with often trying to demand that Japan censor their art. So that's inherently one way, but there's another way. I would like to throw out the hypothesis that in reality, like Calvinists or Puritans, they have the elect and reprobate formula. The elect are themselves, obviously. And they are the elect. They are the feminists. They are the activists that try to fight for that. So they are the elect. You should listen to the elect. The elect should lead society. You see what I'm going for here? This is their entire mindset. It's far more puritanical, very Calvinist, very Puritan. And of course, people like us are the reprobate. We need to know our place, and we need to start working on changing ourselves. That's a huge similarity to Calvinism that really needs to be discussed. Is they are ridiculously Calvinist. I mean this in every sort of way. They are Calvinist to the bone. In that sense. They're also Calvinist in the sense, they're also very Christian, very religious, but very much Calvinist in the sense, Puritan, the devil is everywhere, and the devil for them, and the Satan, the hell, is patriarchy. That is their demon, their devil. And that is very similar to how Puritans saw Satan in everything. Any sort of slight clearly means that the devil is involved in some way, and their devil is patriarchy. That's one thing we definitely got to keep in mind, is that's their Satan. And that's one thing that the Calvinist and or Puritans, is depending on how you want to refer to them as, would say. They're very much a mixture of what happens when puritanical American values, the basis for originally what were Americans, meets Marxist ideology. This hatred of sexuality, this idea of reprobate and elect, the ones who obviously are more important and deserve to lead society, and the ones that the ones that can see Satan everywhere where you can't, because they're the elect and they can fight Satan, or as in their terms, patriarchy. And they also constantly want revolution, and they constantly have defined gender and race as classes, not as individuals. Now, this is kind of a rundown I'm giving that's very simple, and I'm going to end it here for now. If you want to hear more about this subject, I'll gladly give maybe a longer lecture once I can go longer than 15 minutes. I don't want to go past 7 because then it gets boring. But I'll see you guys later. Guys, Rome is burning. It's time to wake up.